I mean, in a sense, President Trump, he campaigned on this ticket of America first. He's the president of peace, not the president who's going to get America involved in another overseas situation. And that's what's happened. So, I mean, there must be people in the GOP who are thinking, why are we entering this, latest overseas conflict, potentially? And why wasn't this run by Congress? I mean, how's that being answered?
Yeah, there's, a couple of points there, and both good ones. There's precedent here, first of all, in terms of not going to Congress. There had to be absolute secrecy on this mission to maintain that advantage, that tactical advantage of surprise. So there's precedent there. I mean, George H.W. Bush did the same thing when he ousted Manuel Noriega from Panama, similar to what Reagan did in Grenada. And so there's, to the first point, there's just a lot of differences between this situation and the quagmires that we had in obviously in Afghanistan and Iraq, as well as even Libya and Syria. So, these are places that are a far distance from America. Remember, Venezuela is a very close neighbor. If, by air and sea, it's only a few hundred miles from the Florida coast, from the southeastern U.S. And so it is a neighbor. And so with America First, it's important that it's not America alone, first of all. And secondly, you really need peace and security in the region, and we were not getting that in Venezuela. So it's really different. There's a much greater risk than to America having Venezuela being already invaded by Russia, by China, by Hamas, by Hezbollah. There was a lot of bad actors operating there. You had the massive flow of Venezuelan criminals into the U.S. that were released from jails by Maduro. You had the drug trade. So, I mentioned the Lake and Riley case. That's something that, put Americans at risk when Venezuela was sending, their lowest their lowest and their least desirable citizens to America, and with great cooperation by President Biden, of course. But that's all changed. But I do think, I'd have to just remind the viewers that, that there were great and significant risks to America by having a Venezuela that was essentially occupied by our adversaries.